A very good afternoon to all of you. So today we are going to study in detail how the sampling theorem is applied and where it is applied. Okay, so what are the signature areas where it can be utilized. So before moving on to the intricacies of the theorem, I would love to give a revision of what we have learned so far in the sampling theorem. So I hope from the last lecture it is very clear that suppose this is a signal, okay, and this is sampled with the help of an impulse train given by this. This is the impulse train, and when it samples it, then it will give you what we call as the sampled train. That is, this when sampled by this particular impulse train, which is given by delta t minus kts, will provide you this. Is it clear or not? I think this is very much clear. Okay, so this is how the sampled theorem is obtained. Sampled signal is obtained. After that we studied how to obtain the frequency components of the sampled signal. Okay, so what we did was that again the sampling was carried on. Okay, the sampling was carried on, and this is the Fourier transform of the signal to be sampled. We have also learnt that the Fourier transform of GT is G omega, which is nothing but omega s, where omega s is the sampling frequency, omega s multiplied by summation and moving from minus infinity to infinity delta omega minus n omega s. Okay, clear? Okay, after that the G omega. Okay, one more thing was that when we performed ft dot gt, so it simply implied that it is nothing but in the time domain we are multiplying it. So in the frequency domain it should be 1 upon 2 pi into f omega into g omega. This mistakes is still there, so I would like to correct this thing. Yes, this is it. Okay, clear? Because we all know that in the time domain when there is convolution, then that convolution is reflected in the frequency domain as multiplication of g omega and f omega. Okay, clear? Now as I have, wait a minute, just there's something else. Okay, it's fine. So let's go to this thing. This is your GT that we have already discussed. I had already told you, I had already given you the Fourier transform of this particular thing, but still if somebody is interested in the long methods, then I would like to revise the long method. That just get the Cn is nothing but 1 by ts f of t e to the power j n omega naught t dt, and t is varying from basically t is varying in the entire time period. Okay, so now this is delta t 1 upon ts e to the power minus j n omega naught t dt, varying from minus ts by 2 to ts by 2. Clear? Now have a look at this. This is delta t, this is j n omega naught t. Now when this multiplication is carried on, what you will do is that you will simply put this zero value here and delta t will remain intact. So delta t minus ts by 2 to ts by 2 dt 1 upon ts. Clear? So this gives me 1 by ts. Okay, now this is your 1 by ts that's obtained. Now I will again come back to the G omega portion. Okay, so now coming back to the G omega portion, we can very well see that once Cn is obtained, came out to be 1 Ts, then we have to multiply it by 2 pi by Ts, summation this, it will obtain the transform. Now without wasting a second, I will straight away come to the crux that these two are multiplied. F omega convolution delta omega minus n omega s. From the convolution of property of delta function, we are very much clear that these two will be convoluted, so it gives us f of omega minus n omega s. Clear? And f of omega into delta n omega s. Now this summation simply implies that these all f functions should be added. So these are added like this, we will get the desired. Now what does this mean? The addition means that I would simply want to, now comes the important part. This is the entire spectrum is plotted. This is the entire spectrum and the addition is carried on. The amplitude is multiplied by 1 by Ts. Okay, clear? Now Nyquist frequency can be explained, the Nyquist sampling rate can be explained from here only. This is a very good case where this is omega naught, this is omega s, and this is omega s minus omega naught. Okay, now if you look carefully at the limiting case when this omega naught and omega s minus omega naught should coincide, so we can directly say that if these triangles are equal, then this is omega naught, then this is also omega naught. Okay, so this will be 2 omega naught and this is omega s. So if for obtaining the exact signal, one thing needs to be very clear, that is that your omega s should be greater than 2 omega naught, because if it is less than 2 omega naught, this is 2 omega naught, if it comes here, then this signal will, this end point will go something here, just like this. Look at this. So aliasing will be happening. Aliasing of signals will be happening, and these aliased signals are not at all, they will not give the exact signal. When these signals are again resampled and they are expressed in their t domain, then the exact f of t can't be obtained. That's why the entire revision was very important. Till this point it was very clear. Again I am repeating it, that this is omega naught, this is omega s, this is omega minus omega naught, this is 0. These are the shifted version of this. This is omega minus omega s, this is omega minus 2 omega s, this is omega minus 3 omega s, again this is omega minus omega s minus 2 omega s, and so on. These all are added and the amplitude is multiplied by 1 upon Ts. Clear? This till this point it is very much clear. Now have a look at this. When this gives you A by Ts amplitude, okay, this is clear. Now just have a look at this. If you look carefully at this particle, then this is A by Ts. Clear? One more thing that can be drawn, that when this function is passed through the filter, then the amplitude of filter will get multiplied by this amplitude, and in totality we can say that the truncation of this thing will be happening, that this whole signal will get truncated. Clear? Okay. Second important thing, which is very important, is that how the Nyquist sampling frequency is obtained. So it can be very well understood that when this omega s has to be equals to 2 omega naught, it can't be less than 2 omega naught. So this is the condition again, omega s is greater than or equals to 2 omega naught, from where we come to the conclusion fs has to be greater than or equals to 2f naught for proper sampling. This is the Nyquist sampling rate. If this fs is not greater than 2f naught, then we can very well say that exact signal cannot be reproduced. Okay, so this is how the Nyquist sampling rate is defined. I will again come to this point in the next lecture, and after that we'll go further with problem solving. Thank you and have a fantastic day.